friends, welcome to Spiceindiaonline. This is Mulai Madhavan, and in today's video, I'll be sharing the recipe for a delicious gravy called Kadai Vegetables. I guess this is the most sought after veg style gravy that gets ordered in most restaurants as a side for pulka, roti or parathas. The base for this dish is typically made by grinding fresh masala and then either sauteed or steamed veggies are added onto it later on. It's mostly made with vegetables. It can also be a combination of mixed vegetable and paneer. Now let's get started to make this scrumptious restaurant style Kadai Vegetable Masala. The first thing here is to either steam or saute the veggies. These are the things that you will need to saute. We'll need a quarter cup of onions which are cut into big cubes like these. A quarter cup of carrots diced. And then a quarter cup of cauliflower which are cut into small pieces. A quarter cup of green peas. I have used frozen green peas which will cook fast, but in case if you're using fresh shell peas, make sure to steam them separately and then add it to the gravy. Then we'll need a quarter cup of each green and red capsicum. Paneer is more of a fancy element in here. It's optional. Instead of paneer, you can go with any other vegetable like broccoli or baby corn. You may skip the oil and butter if you wish to steam or boil the veggies. If you're boiling, give about 6 to 7 minutes in water, or you can pressure cook them for up to 1 whistle. Today I'll be sauteing the veggies, so I'm using little butter and oil and also a tiny pinch of sugar which will keep your veggies crunchy and also will keep the color intact. Now take a wide pan or a kadai and heat about 2 tablespoons of oil and a teaspoon of butter. Once that gets hot, add all the veggies that have been chopped and kept ready. Make sure to keep the flame at a medium level and saute the veggies, and while sauteing them, also add in the sugar. Sugar is an optional ingredient. Adding sugar will keep your veggies nice and crunchy and also will keep the color intact. Saute them only for a minute and then immediately cover them with a lid and steam it for 2 minutes. This way, the veggies will be cooked to a texture where it's not over mushy. It will keep them crunchy and also will not lose much of their color. Once the veggies are cooked, just remove them off the pan and transfer it to a plate and set it aside. Now these are the things that you will need for the base gravy. We're going to take some butter, oil, about a cup and a half of chopped onions, a little ginger, about 6 to 7 cloves of garlic, 3 of the green chilies, about 3/4 cup of chopped tomatoes. For the garam masalas, you will need some cinnamon, cloves and cardamom, about a teaspoon of cumin seeds, and then about a tablespoon of kasuri methi, which is nothing but dry fenugreek leaves. Now instead of the dry fenugreek, you can also use fresh fenugreek or frozen fenugreek leaves. They are equally good, or you can use a combination of both. I've also added about 3 cashew nuts here, which is optional. If you want to cut down on the cashews, you can either increase the cream or reduce the cream and add more of the cashew nuts for the gravy. Fresh cream, cashew nuts, all these are added to make the gravy rich. It's only for the restaurant style. If you prefer a simple low-fat home style version, then use poppy seeds and low-fat milk instead. Now again, heat some oil and butter in the same pan in which you sauteed the veggies. Once it turns hot, add in the cumin seeds followed by the fresh garam masala along with the chopped green chilies, few cloves of garlic, followed by ginger and the chopped onions. Keep the flame at medium-high and saute the onions for a couple of minutes. At this stage, you may add the kasuri methi. I'm just adding only half a tablespoon of this, reserving the rest for later. As I mentioned before, instead of the dry fenugreek leaves, you can also substitute with fresh fenugreek. I am using about a quarter cup of frozen fenugreek leaves. That's all I could find here. I can guarantee you that adding a quarter cup of fresh fenugreek will not make your gravy bitter. Once the onion turns nice and transparent, add in the cashew nuts along with the chopped tomatoes. Again, saute the tomatoes until it turns nice and mushy and then turn off the heat. Now transfer this to a mixer jar and let this cool completely before grinding. This tip here is only for beginners who are learning to cook. Make sure not to grind something that is too hot. Let them sit for a few minutes, cool completely, and then grind it. Because grinding something that is too hot can cause the pressure to build up and the lid may pop open at any time and the whole thing will splutter on your face. So make sure to cool this mixture completely before grinding. Also use very little water to grind. Make a thick paste and set aside. And now again, heat some oil in the same pan and add the ground onion paste to it. Fry this paste in the oil for a couple of minutes and then when it's about to boil, start adding the masala powders. Start adding little turmeric powder, some coriander powder. I'm adding half a teaspoon of a hot variety of red chili powder as I've already added 3 green chilies. Then a teaspoon of Kashmiri red chili powder, which is purely for adding some color to the gravy, and some salt that's required for the dish. Fry all the masala powder in the onion paste until the raw smell leaves. Within a few minutes, you will see that the oil will get separated from the base, and that's when you add all your cooked vegetables. At this stage, we will also add the remaining kasuri methi and then bring in all our sauteed veggies to the base. Also, if you like to include paneer, you may add it at this stage along with 1/4 cup of cream. Fresh cream, malai or heavy cream, it's mainly added to the base to give a glossy finish and also to give a creamy, rich texture to the base gravy. You may skip this completely or add only a small portion of it, or you can use low-fat milk instead. After adding the cream, keep the mixture over medium heat for a couple of minutes and immediately turn off the heat as soon as you see the oil separating from the base. Keeping them too long will only make the veggies lose its color and also the crunchy texture. Finally, garnish it with some coriander leaves and that's it, friends. Scrumptious Kadai vegetable curry is ready to be served. We enjoyed this restaurant style Kadai vegetable with some homemade rotis. I made a dough using 2 cups of wheat flour, half a teaspoon of salt, 2 teaspoons of oil, and then made a soft dough using a cup of water. The water measured here is approximate. It depends on the quality and brand of atta that you're using. Typically for 2 cups of wheat flour, it's going to be about 1 to 1/4 of a cup of water. You're going to make a soft, loose dough which will look a little sticky initially, but as you keep kneading, it will turn into a non-sticky dough. Knead well for about 15 to 20 minutes, giving enough pressure with your palms and then make a soft dough. Cover and rest it for about half an hour and then divide into equal portions. 2 cups of wheat flour should roughly yield about 8 to 9 rotis. After dividing them into equal portions, try to roll them into golf-sized balls. Also, while rolling them, make sure there are no holes in it and also try not to prick with your nails so that your rotis will puff up properly. Now press the ball and dust it generously with some wheat flour and start rolling out to make a thin disc. Rolling them out into a perfect circular shape is an art. It will get to you by practice. If you keep making rotis every day, it will eventually come one day. Also, while rolling out, make sure you give pressure only on the sides and not in the center. Another important note here is to roll out the rotis only on one side and not on either sides. The rolled out rotis should not be too thick nor too thin. It should about be less than a 1/4 inch in thickness. Once it's rolled out, it should have a smooth finish. Dust off the extra flour and then cook it over a hot tawa. Make sure the tawa is super hot when you add the rotis. Keeping them too long in the tawa can make them too hard. So make sure the tawa is hot when you add the rotis and start to turn them around in the tawa for a few seconds. In about 30 seconds, you will see tiny bubbles underneath. That's when you flip the roti and then try to press them with the spatula or use a cloth to press it, so that way they will puff up when you turn it again. Flip them back and then give pressure and you can see it for yourself. It will puff up perfectly. Immediately apply some butter and then remove them off the pan. And that's it, friends. Enjoy these soft rotis with some Kadai vegetable curry on the side. I hope you enjoy watching this video. Please give us a thumbs up and also subscribe to our channel. Thank you.